Welcome everybody. The time is 7 o'clock. The date is June 2nd, 2022. This City Service Council meeting is called to order.
Recording in progress.
Junior, could you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please?
We begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Junior. Is everybody in on Zoom? Thank you everyone at Zoom for coming. Thank you for all of you. This is quite a few people. Nice to see some new faces here. We'll learn about our city and what we do, who does what, how we do it. Thanks, welcome. Denise, will you take roll call?
Yes, Mayor Gillen.
Present.
Thank you, Councilor Foreman. Here. Thank you, Councilor Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you, Council President Wagner.
Here.
Thank you. Councilor Barch.
Here.
And Councilor Harvey.
Here.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have announcements and additions. Does council have any that would like to bring forward? No announcements or additions? Okay. I don't think I have any at this point. I'd like to reserve that for later though. Just really noted, thank you. Next, we're going to move to public comment. We have some rules about that. I have a stopwatch. I have been known to cut off my own mother. 3 minutes means 3 minutes, and in the fact that we need to get through this, we have a big agenda. So what the rules are is public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person with an optional 2 minutes for council questions and answers. If you wish to address council, please come forward to the podium and identify yourself for the record. State your name and address, please. Anybody want to come up? And I'll tell you when to go, okay? Or you can do your name and address. That won't take your time.
My name is Allison Kelly. I live at 250 East Ivy Avenue.
Welcome. And I'll tell you when to go.
What was the last name?
Kelly?
Go ahead, Kelly.
In 2019, the Fourth Amendment, the Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Davidson versus Randall found that local public official in Virginia created a public forum with her personal Facebook page and subsequent censorship of citizens by blocking those with contrary opinions, violated their First Amendment right to freedom of speech. On May 2nd, 2021, Mayor Gillen announced that her mayor page. She encourages her citizens' engagement, identifies it as her page as mayor. I value your input on all that happens in Jervis. On January 20th, 2022, she posted a screenshot of a PDF document that declares her page views and opinions are not representative of the Jervis City Council, despite the fact that the Supreme Court has given the opinion that if a public figure discusses some personal matters on their Facebook page, it is not enough to make it a private page. Alternatively, if a public figure invites civic engagement to their page in the capacity of their position, then they are not protected under the of that page being private. The decision further postulates that a private page of a public servant being used for civic engagement while no equivalent alternatives exist automatically render it a public page and makes all statements potentially protected by the First Amendment. Annie Gillen continues to disrespect citizens, bully and censor people who don't agree with her or support her, and sanctions the bullying of her by her husband, family, and friends of other or people who speak out against her. Thank you.
You're welcome. Council, I'll go ahead and start, and I'll ask you the question. Thank you for your informative information from Virginia, the case in Virginia. We are under Oregon law. I think it varies. I'll have my attorney that I have on call look into this, okay? Secondly, would you like to leave what you wrote with the city manager so that I can all get a copy of this? That way I'll be able to look it over. There's a lot of information there. As far as me taking it back to a private page, I have been told by my legal, I had every right to not have a page. I tried it, and because I was getting a lot of flack about what I could and could not do, I disclosed and posted more than 3 times that disclosure. Plus in the intro, which you failed to mention, I say this is my private citizen page. People were notified publicly that way. I had the right to pull it back, is what I've been told. So that's my stand on it. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I do not think I am. So, and as far as my husband bullying, where did you get that information?
I've seen it on the page
What
myself.
did he say?
We have,
What did he say? Can you tell me? Can you show me? My husband said he could not afford a school bond, ma'am. He was being attacked on my private page by people telling him he could. They were targeting and they were trying to trigger. That is all. That is our stance on it. I'm not going to argue tonight, but we do have feelings and we do have a right to a position. Even the mayor has a right to a position. Okay, and I'm sorry it didn't in line with yours. But my husband is far from a bully now. He's very sweet. He's right over there. Say hi, Keith. Okay, so I'm not mocking you, but I'm glad that you came. I would make an appointment. Let's go have coffee. Ask me what my positions are. Please do not lean on rhetoric on Facebook, okay? Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you. Yeah. Does anybody else have a question?
I'm saying, Katie.
You can count on me too. What am I directing?
What time is it?
Anybody in there have it?
What did it say?
What did he say?
It sounded like a TV.
Yeah.
Background noise.
Sounded like a what?
Could we call the next person, please? We do have a big agenda. Please come forward. And let me get my stopwatch. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Melanie Blair,
And your address?
250 East Ivy.
Welcome, Ms. Blair. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing me. I am coming forward with concerns that have been brought to me by many residents, some who can't speak due to their role in our community, and some who won't speak because they're afraid to. On numerous occasions, you have used your personal page for business, which is not allowed, as we have previously heard. You have been using it for city hall information, lobbying against the bond, community events. That then makes it a public page. And anything censoring that or anybody else is a violation of First Amendment rights. You have worked closely with other members of our community to dig up personal and financial information about me, about members of our community, members of our teaching squad, and accused several people of doing drugs.
Wait, what?
Drugs. And I quote, opiates to be exact. In addition, aside from all of that, there is a non-resident of Jervis who was invited to join the Parks and Rec Department. He's not a resident of Jervis. You stated, and it is on minutes of record, your grandma lives here, just use her address. That's fraud. This is a spot for a citizen and a resident of Jervis, not Hubbard. His own residents have commented to his extensive involvement in our community business instead of focusing on his. Additionally, the ad hoc committee is assigned one task and then needs to be disbanded. Currently, this committee is working on the skate park, a basketball tournament, the 4th of July, was working on the circus, and now is working on getting lights in the park. That's not what it's designed for and shouldn't be used that way. One task, that's it. Annie has also publicly taken credit for many activities and things that have happened in this town that have not been organized by her. When we had the ice storm last year, it took our mayor 5 days of people struggling for help. She took credit for things she didn't do in there either, and I have proof. Mostly the people she actually helped were from her church. The rest of our community, a lot of our community, stood up together, as we always have, and will continue to do to help one another. In addition, and finally, the community basketball tournament needs to be held on public ground, not on church property. There needs to be a very clear separation of church and state. Annie either needs to stand up and be the mayor that we deserve, or step down because she can't separate her feelings from her job as mayor.
Are you done?
I am done.
Let's back up. Let's go to the back. Rocky Sherwood is not on the committee. We have voting members of the committee. It is open to the public. About me posting about city business, Ms. Blair, it's public record. I have never posted anything that does not contain public record that is recorded somewhere else.
Still on your private page
Doesn't
as a
matter.
mayor, that
No,
makes
no,
it a
a
public
private
page.
page. I am entitled to be a private person.
You can be, but you have to have your private Annie.
I will not
page.
argue with you.
Okay, because you also have
I do
your
not want to.
Andrea Elizabeth Ray Gillen page.
None of your business.
So you
None of
use
it
this
is
one as
your-
public.
None of it. I can have
It's
16
everybody's
pages.
business, ma'am.
Yes. Council, would you like to say something?
I have a question
You
in
can have the
regards
floor
to,
when you ask for it.
may I have the floor, Mayor?
Yes,
Thank you.
we have procedures, Ms. Blair.
So in what you're saying, I'm a little confused too, because I'm reading here that Rocky lives at 2622 Nina Place in Hubbard.
That's true.
And I see
Wait.
here where he was, where did it go? Rocky was invited to join the Parks and Recreation Committee on Tuesday at 6:30 by Mayor Gillen. And they would be discussing the 4th of July and other events. So that kind of confuses me because that sounds like you're on the committee, not just attending the meetings. And so, and then the whole thing about using your grandma's address.
I don't even have a grandma.
Lives here, and it was a joke. Had you been present to
Yeah,
any
yeah.
meeting, you would have seen it. Rocky, we'll give you a chance. Ms. Blair, do you have a page out there called corrupt? Are you an administrator of a hate page? Because it's being called a hate page.
Not a hate
Hey,
page.
what was the title of it when,
Originally, it was Jervis Do Better.
okay,
The owner and creator of the page changed it, and I encouraged her to change it to something different.
okay, what was that? Could you tell us, please?
Something about a disgraceful mayor.
No,
Embarrassment, excuse me,
corrupt,
embarrassment.
embarrassing, trash.
And I encouraged her to change it.
Ms. Blair, what is the primary objective? Is that to defame me?
No, not at all. It's to get the information out that you're stifling.
Then I'm doing something wrong. It's to show that I'm a bad person, right?
Not at all, because you're probably not a bad person at all.
Okay, but
However,
what's your
separating your personal opinions from your job as mayor is where the problem is
objective?
happening.
How am I corrupt? That is a felony charge.
Again,
How am
I did
corrupt?
not make that statement.
You
That is by
agreed with it.
somebody else on the
You
page.
are part of it. In fact, she is.
There
part
are
of it.
so many people that are a part of that page. It doesn't
No, no,
mean we agree
there's
or
a join
disagree.
button. There's a join button.
So everybody
Our
that is
city council
joined the
president,
page
The city
participates.
staff minute was on there.
Okay,
So it's a page to discredit and defame and slander and besmirch me, correct?
not at all.
But it is.
That's your view on it, and I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Okay, I just want to know where you're fitting.
There are almost 100 people in that group.
No, there's 52 today, my lawyer said.
Oh, my apologies.
Yes, she may.
Okay, so first of all, you and I had this discussion.
No, we
And-
did not ever have this discussion until after the fact.
We had the discussion at the circus, and I explained to you that I was on that page to monitor. I do not post on that page. I do not like on that page. I was simply monitoring the page. Now, if we want to go into that, Annie, why did you block me from anything after I asked you why all volunteers were not?
Or any other person that,
Are you
So-
done? Here's what I'll say. I blocked you because I am not corrupt. I do not have to have your harassment inflicted on me. I do not have to see that. I do not have to associate with you or her.
Or anybody else that even associates with us has been
You're
blocked.
a hate page. Anybody that looks at that page, you say not one thing except you accuse me and my husband of getting votes through bullying. That's a felony, ma'am. You do not get to do
Where
that.
did I say that?
It's on your group page that you're the
Again,
administrator. for.
not just
I'm not
because I
gonna argue
administer it
with
means
you
I can
now.
flag comments that aren't appropriate.
John Harvey, you have the floor.
Well, I'll just tell you, I advise them to block anybody that was trying to bait her. Because that's what you guys are doing right here. You're trying to bait her into something that is wrong. I don't understand why you guys are here putting this hate out for this little city of Jervis. All these kids in this town are seeing what you guys are doing. It's all over Facebook. It's wrong. I don't care what anybody else says, it's wrong.
Nikki Wagner is lying. I did not know until after the fact.
I'm gonna go ahead and continue with my lawsuit and I'm gonna excuse myself from this.
Please do.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Wait till you're
Hey,
done.
my name's Rocky Sherwin. My address is 2622 Nina Place. I want to let you know, because of me and my group, we gave you guys a Christmas celebration. We gave you your first Christmas parade, and we did that as Independence. And you know what? For you guys to try to run my name now, you know what? During the pandemic, when the cities were shut down, I came up with a group to jump through the city obstacles, and I created my own group to start Christmas parades, holiday food truck event, and harvest festivals. And guess what? Yeah, she's right. I had a lot of community members trashing on me because I spread out. Because yeah, I believe my aunt actually lives in Jervis, and the fact is, I'm behind any committee, and I support any committee that allows our kids to be a part of it. And park and recreation is 90% youth. And that's what I stand for. I also coach boxing at Animals Boxing Gym and Hubbard, $50 a month. We mentor to kids that going through depression, that lost their mom and dad to suicide. What are you saying? That's a bad thing too, that I'm a community member and that I want love or.
Well, let me tell you something. You're welcome in Jervis. You're welcome here whenever you want to come and participate within our city. You are loved, Rocky, and we appreciate you. Because of you, we had a first choice of the circuit. Three of us. So thank you, Rocky. And Cole, thank you. You keep coming. You are a guest of Jervis. I'm sorry you were just treated this way.
And I want to introduce you guys to one of our, who wants to speak about this?
Do you still want to come to our city? I apologize for that poor behavior.
No, no.
We are not all like that.
No, it's fine. This gentleman right here, he just started, he's from Woodburn, and he actually found out, he joined the Hubbard Community Plan Events team, and he heard about your 4th of July celebration. 4th of July is a big thing for his family, but he's gonna commit that day to the city of Jervis because he loves families and he's from Mexico. And I'm gonna introduce Jorge to you and let him come up and speak for 3 minutes about his business.
It's okay if you do it. It's nice to meet you.
Tell me to be here 4th of July. Love to have you guys. Thanks.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Jorge Ruiz, and I recently just opened my business here in Hubbard. It's La 22. It's a Mexican food, but we try to bring some of my family tradition, that it's treat actually people as our family. That's why when Rocky explained me that he had this plan to his comedy, I was actually proud to be part of his comedy, because that's what my parents taught me. That's what I think the Mexican tradition is. Every time treat people like your family. I think our traditions are really good, and that's what we try to bring out to the people that we have as our clients. We try to speak to them because we don't know how your day is going. We don't know what are they going through or what's happening on their houses. So that's why we try to treat people like our family, and they can go and eat and try like Mexican food and be like, oh, this is like my grandma's kind of food, you know? So that's what we're trying to do. And I like really what Rocky's project is right now, so I really support it 100% with me and my family and my business.
You are welcome and it will be a nice celebration. This is an off night. It's apparent that there's a lot of division. It started over a school bond. People were not allowed to just bill the way they did. A lot of division and the way it was promoted. And I apologize for you seeing this. I'm embarrassed for Jervis. I am totally embarrassed by the actions, okay? But I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you.
See you 4th of July, baby.
Jorge Ruiz's address for the record, please.
1010 McCallum Lane,
In what city?
Woodburn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question? You can come in. Can you walk? I can really-
No, I'm good. I heard that. My name is Linda Jensen, 1068th Street here in Jervis. And I guess I'm confused. I want to ask Mickey. Were you on this particular page?
I joined the page to monitor. If you go on the page, you will see I have not liked any posts. I have not commented on any posts, except when a lady named Virginia Mendoza called me out for not being at meetings, so to speak, and other counselors. And I responded with, I had emergency knee surgery in August. I was hospitalized for 6 days. I came home for the next 6.5 weeks. I was in a hospital bed in my living room.
I remember
I
that.
had a PICC line. November, I had to go back in for surgery. I was then in a wheelchair. And
That
pretty much
doesn't-
everybody here
That
knows.
doesn't really
But-
pertain, that doesn't
Okay,
pertain to
so
this.
here, let me answer.
My
but I'm just
question
saying-
was,
To say that I was not here is incorrect. I was on Zoom.
no, what I just asked you has, I don't even know why you're answering.
I'm just telling you, I'm telling you, you asked if I was on this page and I said, yes. However, I'm just monitoring what's said
Why?
I'm not-
My question.
because I can, it's my right.
Okay, yes, it's your right.
Yes.
Did you
But
let
my
Chief
question,
know that these people were that angry with me? Did you let me know? No, you didn't. You did not until after. I have the time and date stamp on when you and I talked about it. It was after, it was the next day. And I told you I was aware of that. I got told after the first show. I held my composure through that first show with people you inflicted on me when we're dating me. I'm sorry. They shouldn't have been volunteering with them. Miss Blair and the crew. This boy over here that's sitting out here attacks Miss Hampton O'Neill on there, telling her that she doesn't.
Mayor, I just want to finish.
You have 3 minutes.
You know what? I'm sorry.
I guess my question is, why did you have to join the page to monitor?
Because I wanted to see what people were saying.
Okay,
I wanted to
but
see
don't
the
you,
feedback of our citizens.
don't you,
That's why we're elected. We
As-
are elected.
as a council member, do you realize that the people of Jervis, the many good people, look up to you?
I do realize.
And when you join a hate group page,
I didn't join a hate group.
well, you just said you did.
I said I joined the page. Or it was before that I joined it. It had a different name to it, then it was changed.
You know what? It
Okay,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't-
It
you're right,
doesn't
it
matter
doesn't
to me.
matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't, please. It doesn't matter to me when you joined it. You did join it. But my question to you is, as a council member, representing a lot of really good people here in Jervis, do you think that made you look very good? I will tell you right now, it did not.
May I ask?
And you know what? I'm afraid if you ever run again, you probably are gonna get a lot of no votes because people don't respect someone that joins that type of a group. You could have monitored that without joining the group because it makes you look like you are part of that group.
Her best friend is the.
It makes you look like you are part of the group. And personally, I don't want a council member sitting, representing me as a resident of Jervis that's on a group like that. I'm sorry. I don't, and I know that there's a lot of.
I'm not paying attention to time. This is very emotional and I usually am not triggered so easily.
I'm not the only person here at Jervis that feels that way.
That's you.
May I respond to her?
You may have 2 minutes of her. That's what it says. In the
I do
rules.
want you to realize, you may not know me from Adam, ma'am, but
I
if
do. I do.
you do, how?
Yes, I've been to council meetings. I
Okay.
listen to what you say.
Mhm.
I do know who you are
Okay,
and what you do. I do. And so do a lot of other people in this town.
and if you ask a lot of people in this town, for the last 16 years that I've lived here, 6 months after I moved here, my husband and I started the anti-graffiti team. We're the ones that cleaned up all the graffiti.
That's great.
We actually started with the Neighborhood Watch. I was voted up. Then I joined and co-chaired the CPT nonprofit. I have been involved in so many things and I have always been there. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I'm at 90% of
Let's just put it
events
this way,
and things that go
Nikki.
on here.
Nikki, you may, you know what, that's very gracious of you to do all those things. However, this particular thing does not make you look very good.
And I'm
If you're unemployed, a lot of
I'm
the
sure that
districts
all of
you
us have done things that, you know, people
Okay,
may not
we
like.
need to move on now. Anybody else want a public comment, please come forward. And I really am gonna try. I have to focus. This is very hard for me. I work 40 hours a week. No excuse. I'll try to be better. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sandra Gregory, 3457 to Jervis. I am very grateful for all of the wonderful contributions that Andrea has given to this town. She has worked diligently to improve this town. She represents the good citizens of this town very well, and she cares about this town.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'd like to speak at one time.
You first.
Go ahead. Is that Christy?
Yes, go ahead, Brian.
Doesn't matter who.
Hello, my name is
Hello.
Brian Wagner.
Let
I
me
live at
do-
166 East Hemlock Drive. Michelle Wagner is my wife. I'm not up here to throw stones. I'm not up here to debate and argue with any of this garbage that's going on. Because as far as I'm concerned, it is. It's childish on both sides. All sides, all people involved, anybody even responding. What this is about is two different sides that help the community. It's about Annie, her team, her family, her church. It's about Nikki, her team, her family, everybody in the community that supports her. Two teams that support this entire town. Help out, volunteer. That's what I'm getting at right now. That's what I'm getting at right now. They do this on both sides, but it's split in half. What you both need to do as a group, everybody needs to come together as a family in a group and be Jervis again. Not be separate groups trying to tear each other apart. Thank you very much.
I'm just gonna pop on this for 1 sec. That's exactly what I wanted to say. You know what? When I first met Mickey, I respect you. You have a lot of things going on and you came out and supported our holiday event. I respect Annie Gillen for, if it wasn't for Annie Gillen and Mickey Wagner, I wouldn't have been able to put on that holiday parade. It was you guys.
I'd like to speak. Bring it up. Give your address. Oh, wait, we do have Christy Richardson. Judge, I'm sorry.
Okay, Christy Richardson, 545 Second Street.
Can you repeat that, Christy?
It's 545 Second Street. And I just want to mention that I volunteer all the time with Jervis as long as my health allows it. And never have I been treated so poorly as when I volunteered at the circus. Mickey brought the circus to town, which I'm so thankful for because I had 14 family members who had a great day. And a lot of the kids had a lot of fun and it was a wonderful day. I don't understand why there's people belittling Mickey when she works so hard. I don't understand why the mayor cannot separate her personal feelings from her professional feelings. It's something that's hard to do, and I understand that. But when you're a mayor, you need to be able to do that. That's all this is about, is that personal feelings have been involved when it should be professional. I was blocked also by the mayor, and I have no idea why. I have never had an argument with you. I've never said anything bad about you, but now I am blocked from you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. We do volunteer together, and there is no hers and mine in my church. I let Mickey take the lead, though I am the ornamental piece, because I wanted to share. I wanted to make her feel comfortable with me. I'm not going to get into the semantics. Christy, I blocked you because you are on that page, and I don't want the drama. As you guys posted,
I'm sorry, but I wasn't even aware of that page until after I was blocked.
Where I tell you, I'm sorry that you hate me, but I don't have time for the drama.
Did I say anything about hate? And you blocked me before I even knew that page existed.
Christy, I see you on
You
the
blocked
page.
me right after the circus when you blocked me.
Yeah, I do not understand. Vicky, I asked her about if some kids that had helped clean up the remote children could be one of the ringmasters at one of the shows. And you want to talk about division. I was met with, and I have it via, I mean, I can prove all this. I don't want to go there, but I have it via text saying, hey, that'll be Steve-Mom because they're your people. And I told her then, what do you mean? See, I didn't get this yours and mine, Brian. I didn't understand that. The Parks and Recs team were asked to work that circus. Let's see, volunteer in the circus because they were getting half the money. In fact, I wanted the money to go to the DARE program. We had this conversation on December 2nd, 2021. And Councilman Wagner suggested that the circus money be put to the Parks Fund. And then she further goes into listening to the audio, goes into, you guys would need to take tickets and help. Diana Barch, Councilman Barch says, if you guys want to have this committee and be thought of good in this community, you have to put in time. And so that is what they were invited back in December to do this job. Let's talk to them later about how they were treated.
May I respond to that? They were invited in December to work the parade or the circus?
When the circus came and talked, and we talked about how the money would go, Cole Tucker and Mary would come, and you commented, and then at the Parks meeting following that you have attended via Zoom, you told them that they would need to ticket tape. Vicky, you invited them to do it.
But we didn't even know about the circus until March.
No.
Okay, I think we've had enough of all of this kind of thing. This is wonderful to have all these volunteers up here that are working hard for our city. I really appreciate it.
Cut you off. Go ahead.
I don't think you're gonna cut me off this time, my dear. You know, you guys, staff and council people and all the people out here in the audience, we are a group. We should love each other. We should be working together. What is your purpose here? Is it to fight? Is it to get something done? We have some goals in the city. Are we working towards those goals? Or are we just fighting amongst ourselves and picking on each other? This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot take this kind of stuff. I don't watch Facebook for that kind of reason, but I do want to say to the council, the city employees, and also to our members out here, our citizens, let go of your personal problems and all these distractions so that work can be focused on what we really, the important things for our city and our citizens. Doesn't matter if you belong to the church or you don't belong to the church, or where you go to church, or whatever you think about that. That has nothing to do with this. This is our city, and we have wonderful people. We have a diverse community that we should love. All of these people, they can share so much of their culture with us, and we can grow from all of that. I would like to see you guys working together for your goals and for people's needs. Please let go of your differences so that life in this city can show the love that we have for all. And I don't want to hear any more of it.
And yes, the service was a success. Thank you, council, for bringing that to us. Good night, Will.
This is ridiculous.
There was someone else that wanted to speak. Come on up. Speak.
My name is Lucas and I also live at 250 East Ivy. I would like to address that at the beginning of this meeting, you stated that there were rules. You broke your own rules and then continued to yell at your at your city members. You also have continuously disrespected your city, excuse my language, but you called somebody in my neighborhood a bitch on social media, and that has been screenshotted and I can give it to the council.
Would that be the Photoshop like off my husband's page for the elections have consequences? You mean that?
No, I have the date, time and stamp and it matches up to the second because I was watching. I've been watching the whole
Was she
time.
being a bitch?
Does that give you a right to call
It's my
your,
personal page, it does.
not on somebody else's personal page because that's what it was on? You not only have been disrespectful to me by trying to say something to me while I was sitting in the crowd and it was not my time at the stand. You have been disrespectful to other people in the crowd. You have exceeded your own rule and continued to talk and let other people talk past their time. And that is unacceptable. Thank you for your time and have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
Have a good day. Nice to meet you. Again, I met you at the church with the fire victims. Yes?
You didn't meet me at a church.
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
bye.
Fire victims.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? We can get on with the meeting now so we can get some things done.
I have a statement.
Please.
Move on. Now, everybody's come in here tonight, made their statements. And somebody says it's this side and that side. How come we even had sides? That's what I want to know. And I could go into why, but I'm not going to. I just hope, and I really thought there for a while, of the past few meetings that we had, this council was coming together. But boy, I sure am not seeing that anymore. And I'm seeing everybody. I'm seeing a lot of hate anyway, and I really hate it. And I'll tell you what, to me, when I see that stuff on Facebook that's being put on there, it's an embarrassment to me beyond this council. So I hope things are going to change, and I hope that other people don't, I hope that us as counselors don't let outside people influence the way we think and allow ourselves to be involved in anything that's not right for Jervis. And anything that has a hate group. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'm gonna continue on my path. I'm gonna keep blocking anybody who's on the hate page. I don't need to see it. I have a real life. That is it. If you want to send me, tell me. I'll get my lawyer to work. You've already reported me, whatever. That didn't go far. Do what you have to, but I am gonna continue to pray for you. Because I do go to church, as they pointed out. So, in a discussion, or does somebody else want to come at me or to me? Okay, that being said, we have a guest tonight that's supposed to present. I'm wondering if, Judge, would you like me to move you up in the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry, should I sit down?
No. Judge Johnson, Uriah Johnson,
Urias.
we are new, yeah, what is it?
Urias.
Oh, Urias, I
No
apologize.
problem. It's all good.
He is here tonight to introduce himself, so I'm gonna let him have the floor.
Welcome to Jervis. How you doing, Judge Urias Johnson? I gotta get used to saying that. Newest Marion County Circuit Court Judge. I was appointed February 2nd. I was sworn in February 14th. Not only is that Valentine's Day, I'm sure everybody knows it's the birth of Oregon. I took the bench March 1st. And the first thing I did, I'm from Salem, so I went to all of the neighborhood associations, and now I'm going to all the city councils to introduce myself. I've been to Woodburn, Kaiser, Sublimity, Turner, St. Paul, and it is to meet my community. I'm a judge. Some of y'all may appear in front of me as the jury, and I want to get out. We're all supposed to be a community. So I want to meet my community, let my community meet me. And just like your counselors,
Whether you like it or not, they're standing accountable. They're standing here taking your slings and arrows. That's why I'm also here. Look at me. This is me. God forbid you see something y'all don't like that I did. Y'all know who I am. I'm not hiding. My courtroom is 4B. You can come down, watch me do my thing, critique me, and let me know what I can do better. So I'm just here to be accountable, be transparent, and meet the community. So if anybody has any questions, can I have 2 minutes?
Thank you for coming, and we appreciate your time and the fact that you did.
Thank you.
That's really nice.
Congratulations on your appointment. Council. Appreciate it. Oh, wow, nice.
I was gonna say, how long did it take you to come back?
I haven't cut my hair since '99.
Well, it looks good on you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Susie, I've been emailing you.
Back at the nice to meet you.
Denise Dollar.
I appreciate it. Really, can I give you a hug? Sure.
Well, as the bailiff says, all right.
And I don't mean to, there's kids getting killed, people addicted to opioids. I mean, we're coming out of a pandemic. I'm sure everybody's feeling the stress of that. And I'm from the Bronx. I had gangbangers across my street. I had people throwing hypodermic needles out the window. And, we're here talking about Facebook posts. You know what I mean? The world is bigger than that. What we need to do is bigger than that. Let's try to get back to where we were. Try to get everybody together to work through it. It's a hard job. I can appreciate it. And that's why I love coming to the city council meetings, because this is how it's supposed to work. The people are to be heard. The politicians need to be held accountable, and you are, whether the responses are accepted or not. So thank you for your time. I gotta get home, feed my dogs. Thank you so much. Hopefully I won't see any of y'all. What we doing having lunch?
I need to move this agenda along. We're moving on to our consent calendar. Minutes of May 5th, 2022 regular session. Minutes of May 19th, 2022 budget committee. Bills list for April 26th, May 27th, 2022. Treasurer's report for period ending April 30th, 2022. Requested action is a motion to approve the June 2nd, 2022 consent calendar as presented.
I will make a motion to approve the June 2nd, 2022 consent calendar as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pam has stepped away, but that's it's a win vote, so the ayes have it and the motion carries. And the next is a committee report from the ad hoc. And our ad hoc does do multiple tasks. We can add to it through the rules whenever we want. It's in the charter. So don't feel bad about doing too much. You're doing what I've asked and the council's asked. Thank you.
Anything? Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
May I?
Sure.
So if you look in our council rules and procedures, and everybody has one in front of them on page 22. Ad hoc committees. The mayor may form ad hoc committees to deal with specific tasks within specific timeframes. Make recommendations to the council, record minutes of the meeting, which will be forwarded to the council after approval. The mayor will establish the membership criterion for the ad hoc committees. Residency may be a required criterion. It does not have to be a required criterion. Now, that being said, your original task for the ad hoc committee was what?
It was the state park.
Okay. Now, if you go in and you read in the League of Oregon Cities and all these different things.
Read the charter.
I was on League of Oregon Cities and I read this. The only thing I'm going to say, I love what you guys do. I appreciate what you do. I think what you're doing is fantastic. But I think that this committee is trying to take care of too many things at once. And I feel like like the lighting in the park, that's a city issue. I've been here when you've done your thing and, you know, you've gone up here and talked. When it's a city council meeting. It's not Laura bringing information or someone else bringing information that the council is talking about. So my thing is, you know, when you talk about an ad hoc committee, it is assigned to one task only. Once that task is done, the committee is disbanded. Now, you can find that on League of Oregon Cities. You can find it pretty much anywhere you want.
Excuse me, we do not follow the League of Oregon Cities. We follow our own rules, Mickey. And why are you still trying to?
Where are they?
Why are you still trying to divide?
I'm
It's in
not
our
trying
new
to
rules.
divide.
It's
I
in,
just
it's
think
in
that,
our new rules, and if you
It's right
read
here.
them. You know,
all I'm
Mickey,
saying, I'm all for everybody, but what I'm saying is,
No,
it
you're
seems
not.
like a lot of
does
it
anybody
is
else see it?
the people that you're with, that
That
seems
I'm
to
with.
be, the people that you, that
Okay,
agree
yeah.
with you. Those are the people that you
Okay,
can.
point of order, guys, point of order.
You have the
You
floor.
were talking about her.
John, you have the floor.
Number one, first thing we're always doing here in Jervis is asking for volunteers.
Yes,
Why would
we are.
Why would we beat up a volunteer that's?
I'm
doing something?
not.
The other thing is, the
No,
park
I'm not.
lights, the
You
park
listen.
lights are part of.
And they
the park.
asked her to take that
That's
on.
part of the
How
park.
about you
Right.
look into it?
But-
first?
So there's
Meeting
nothing
you
wrong
weren't
with
at.
her looking into seeing if she can get us a good
Excuse me,
deal.
Brad, nobody said that.
But
Mickey.
anyways,
You're out of
No,
line.
I'm not saying that you can't do these things, but being called an ad hoc committee.
Yes, you
You,
are.
okay, you are the ad hoc committee, but that's a single task. If you want to do that, all I'm saying is be a Parks and Rec committee, that's all. Then you can do all of these different things without any stipulations on it. Like I said, I respect and appreciate everything you're doing, the park for the kids, 4th of July, all of that. But I think it's just, all of a sudden, it's like you had said yourself, you're very busy. And now you've got this, and this.
Point of
And it
order,
just keeps
you've
growing.
made your point that you don't care for the way the ad hoc committee has been appointed. Ms. Clifton, please
say
finish
that.
your report.
We were at the circus.
Sure. Yes, we were at the circus and we did work that. I had 10 people there. Rocky and Cole showed up. They volunteered their time. I don't know. I heard the comment that they're not citizens of Jervis and they're attending a public meeting, which I believe if I'm right, they have every right to attend any meeting they want to if it's public. It's posted, it's public. So I don't know where that's coming from. They said they wanted to help at the circus, and I didn't know you had to be a Jervis resident to volunteer.
No, Ms. Blair said it, but go ahead.
I mean, I heard it earlier, so I'm just trying to readdress that.
Laura, I want to say from our council rules, not LOC's, appointment of ad hoc members, the mayor will appoint members of the ad hoc committees. The mayor will designate the chairperson and vice chair. From membership on the committees will be appointed as needed to advise the council on specific programs or projects. Members will continue to serve until their mission is accomplished or they have been replaced or reappointed. It does not mean we disband. League of Oregon City does not apply to us. Please stop referring to it. Go ahead, Laura.
So I've been asked by the council to do the things that we've been doing, and I brought it back to the committee. Feel I'm not.
You're doing fine, Laura.
Okay.
You're doing amazing. I'm not saying that. And I'm really disgusted. And I apologize if you feel that way, because that's not what I'm saying. I mean, I, in the past, have done a lot of things, and it's been so much weight on my shoulders to try and do it, to get things going. But I understand how you've got a lot on your shoulders, and I don't want you to get burnt out. I know you have a committee. Now, as far as Rocky is amazing. Cole's amazing. Okay, I've seen your truck on the Facebook. My thing is this. I'm not trying to divide anybody. What I'm trying to do is be transparent and let people know when we're reading these things, everybody needs to know this information.
It's in our charter. Read your charter. And you know what? I'm gonna move this along. Laura, I have a question for you. Were you asked to work the circus?
Yes,
Who were you asked by?
Nikki and the council.
Okay. Nick, what happened the day you went there? Can you tell them what your committee, what happened? Because it was said that we didn't thank people, we didn't take pictures. Can you tell your side of that, please? Just briefly, please. I mean, she's dividing it mine and yours. You're not mine or yours. That park committee is open to anybody can attend. Anybody.
We showed up. We were standing in the front, and there's the community group on one side and the escape, the Parks and Recs on the other side. And Nikki came in, turned her back to us and talked to her people and did not, we were told to meet her there. She didn't give us any information. We overheard what we were supposed to be doing. The committee for Jervis actually was glaring at our volunteers that were there. They did not want to work with us. They literally walked away and said, "I'm not going to do it." They didn't want to be paired up with us. So I honestly, yeah.
Did they take pictures by themselves?
Yes, I did see one posted.
Did, you know, that's what I mean. This I did not know they were going to volunteer until like a day or two before when I seen Melanie Blair's post on Facebook Friends that her and Mickey were going to do. So I did inquire. Not that I cared. I'm glad everybody came out. And you know, I am okay with other opinions because she had fought with my husband on my private page. So I was okay with that, knowing that the hate page came later and that made it worse. But I'm sorry you were treated that way because, you know, a lot of people have that feeling, and I know some other committee members, not just yourself. So I'm sorry, and I hope you'll continue, but our Parks Committee, we put it, and yes, I posted on Facebook through the neighbors, they can all come, anybody can come. Nobody's ever been shut out. Do they have a vote? No, but they've never been shut out. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Can we just move this on? I'm not gonna.
No. I need to rebuttal on that because
You got
if
2
you
minutes.
recall, I came to all of you and said, how about one member from your committee and one member from the Jervis Community Volunteers work each side? I did not take sides because I wanted us to work together.
Okay, I remember her doing that, but what
Okay.
happened when she did that?
And
Her
then,
back was to us when she was talking.
And then what happened with the committee members? Did they want to do that with you, or what did they do?
They walked away. No, they said they didn't want to do that.
okay,
Go ahead, John, can we get on with the meeting? Go ahead.
Dating on both sides.
I have a question here, and my question is, in the future, if Mickey or whoever's gonna be in charge of that, take your volunteers, get your volunteers, set it up, and then let's go with that group of people rather than bringing in 2
Well,
groups.
we didn't know that another group was coming
Well,
and
no, I
then,
understand that.
and
but
that
I'm
was
not-
fine.
So
They
it
were
sounds to
invited
me
in
like
December.
it needed a better setup to start with, and
It wasn't organized, is what I.
okay, so I just want to say one thing because Annie is saying one thing and I'm going to tell you why. This was a text message that she and I had, okay? Says, this is me. I said, I'm thinking about the 1:30 or about 1:30 for the 2 o'clock show and 4:15 for the 4:45 show. That's for the volunteers to show up. I said, if they could please look for me, I'll be near the entrance. Also, to be fair to all of the folks volunteering, I would like for us all to be in a group photo. Then photos can be taken of the police and the Parks and Recs teams together, since the money raised is for them. I'm only suggesting this because in the past, I gotta get to the next one, sorry. Okay, in the past, so because of the fact that, I'm only suggesting this because in the past, were lots of pictures of certain people. And since this is a city event, everyone should be in the pictures. I want you to know, Annie said, okay. So we did talk about this, and the reason being, because we want everybody there. If someone had come from your group and told me that the other volunteers were being rude to you, I would have said something or sent them home. Because
They
if
did
everybody,
leave most of them after the first show.
They left.
Actually, I saw several.
Okay,
And you were
so
gonna
we
do the second one.
established that, yeah, you wanted pictures, but maybe after the first show, I was shown a hate page. Did you really expect me to go ask them to take a picture? What should I think of what being called corrupt?
You didn't say
Shameless?
anything during the show?
Why would I? I had to hold my composure so that I could greet our public and be a mayor. I wasn't there to buy into
I
you and your
didn't do
hate pages drama. Go
And it's
ahead.
not my hate page.
My question is, who is in charge of the committee or the volunteers? Do you-
In general, she had volunteers and I had
No,
volunteers.
no, you
And they
asked the
were-
volunteers and I
You were
said
the one
that.
who was in charge of that.
Yes, it
Yeah, she
was.
was.
Okay, so if that's the case, then next time we just need to do it differently and get your volunteers up front and then that's it.
That's where we had them.
Well, no, I don't
They
mean,
were
I don't
up
mean
front.
that. I don't
But
mean that. I mean,
here's,
get
in front at
people
the
that
circus.
do it. If people are gonna do it, don't bring extra
Okay, you
people.
know what?
It's
Point
just
of
a
order.
move
Yeah, we gotta
Back
move
to the
on.
meeting,
Move
because you
on.
know what? I work tomorrow. I have a life.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's how I see it all. There is no, like I told you, and I'll show the text later, that there's no us and them or mine and yours. Even little kids, you called it that. Please stop. I'm asking you to stop trying to divide. Now, Laura, will you please finish?
I don't know where I was.
I'm sorry.
Working on the fireworks, we got those permits in place. Chief Budge is gonna do the parade permits,
Jeez.
or chase, sorry. And then, Andy's been, Mary Gillen's been getting donations for the city for raffle off. And, we did book the Copper Ridge Band for entertainment. And I did hear back from the school today that they're not gonna provide bleachers, so we're gonna have to do bring a chair, bring your own lawn chair kind of thing.
Okay.
Where's the band going to be performing? Just right out here?
Yeah,
On the stage.
yeah, well, we got electricity.
That's a good area. That's what most of they do.
Any questions?
No, Susie has one. Go ahead.
We're finishing up the permit application and I just need to know one piece of information. What time is the staging gonna start?
The chief and I talked today and I thought you said 8, but they're letting us come at 9.
Yeah.
So 9,
Well,
Okay, and what time does the parade start?
10, let's say 10:30, since it's such a late thing. And Rocky is going to be our parade organizer.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Diana.
I have just a quick question, Laura. So, sorry, I know you don't like to be up here. I know that the registration forms, there hasn't been a whole lot for the basketball thing. What's the current status on that?
we're probably gonna cancel it.
Yeah, but we rented the church, not because it's a religious factor, to be clear. We rented it because it was $505 versus like 3,000.
No, I was just curious on
We were
where
saving
we stood.
taxpayers money.
We're gonna let this one go. And maybe down the future in the road, we'll try again. I'm assuming the economy right now, a lot of people are kind of inflation, they're holding on to their
Yeah,
dollars.
no, totally makes sense. I heard something about that. I was like, oh, so did you get any registrations at all? Nobody? Okay.
Can I ask one more? Sorry.
Sure.
You rented the church, so I just wanted to know, was there any money paid already or any
No, I'm the
contracts?
event coordinator. I wear another hat. And I didn't do it because it's game, because it was cheaper. I actually had Keith do it. He just reserved it. So I didn't do it myself. So there was no conflict, or I couldn't be a Keith later.
But there's no contract?
No, I'll just call Barb and say it just didn't work out, and they're fine with that. Or I'll have Keith call and tell Barb it didn't work out. And it was just to save you guys money, the taxpayers. It would have saved us like $3,000. That church is part of our community too. I'm really offended by some of this, but that's all. Go ahead, Laura.
No, I'm done.
Can I ask you one more question? It's not a negative thing. I'm just trying to figure out if it's a typo for the, on page 6, 8. I've got both, but I know you don't have it in front of you, but it was talking about, the skate park kit or something. And it said, on there it says, so she said if she gave them $500,000, they would give her a kit for 500,000 skate park. Is that an actual figure or is it supposed to be 50,000?
It was an example, like
Okay.
an idea of $100,000, did they give you
Okay.
$100,000 plan? It was what you asked for, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It is.
I just want to
It
confirm
isn't a
because I'm like,
kit.
whoa, we
I
don't
wasn't-
even have that.
I wasn't, it's not a kit. That's misspoken.
Oh, in here, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I really do appreciate you and the team.
Don't quit.
Yeah. Anybody
Don't
is
quit.
welcome. Go ahead, please come forward. We're gonna. I know, but you know what, this has been an out of sort meeting, and I'm sorry to the staff, I apologize for keeping you so late this evening. Go
Hi,
ahead.
my name's Kathy Harvey, 1080 7th Street. I'm not really related to John. What I want to say is, I'm retired and I volunteer for a living. After listening to the belittling questions, accusations, it would be a cold day in hell before I would volunteer for anything in Jervis, if that's the kind of thanks people get when they give freely of their time.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, we're gonna have to move on. Cool, I know, but we'll talk after, okay? But you know what, you did great, thank you. You did the Marion County, now it's the budget hearing. I had asked Susie about the COLA. What do I need to do that?
Is it a public hearing?
Wait, John?
Right, before she opens the public hearing, I would like to discuss that code. Because that needs to be in.
So you want me to add that?
Well, yeah, we need to discuss that.
Okay, I'm gonna add it right now, and that's fine. Go ahead, John, you have the
Well,
floor.
the COLA is what was it, Susie,
7.4%.
7.4. Well, I did some checking around the state of Oregon, I think, and it's quite a bit lower than 7.4.
The state of Oregon is 3%. Hubbard, I talked to them, it's 4.63 they gave. Social Security's giving 5.9. Salem, don't quote me, but I think it's something like 4.52. Hers is 2%. We are not a private sector. We are a city government, and the taxpayers are the ones that are gonna get these. You know, ultimately, it's their tax dollars. I know, Susie, you weren't ready for this, but, and I know you said you'd give your word that you would handle it and stuff, but I don't feel comfortable with that. Not that you not giving your word, but like the ice storm, something happens, then we could end up locked in, not because your word's not good. But I think procedurally, we need to lock this down if possible. And for me, I'm just gonna say that I like Hubbard's for the 4.63. I think that's fair. Social Security is 5.9. So could we meet in the middle, council?
So,
Yeah.
so I understand that you guys want to figure this out. My problem is I have no numbers in front of me. And I feel that we can't just pull a number out. We need to have a system. We did not, as a group, we were not thrilled with the way that it had been handled, just taking the February number. We need to have a plan going forward.
Okay, well, that's easy.
So-
How about we just average that CPI that Susie used then? How about we do that right now? You can take the 12 points of data, divide it by 12.
So do you want to take the previous years, or do you want to take it from March to March, February to February?
You know what? She did February, so February to February, if that, but you need to use the CPI indexes with the 12 points of data and divide. You just can't cherry pick months, because then, you know what? It could end up hurting our employees the next time.
And I don't like the cherry picking thing, because it did. I mean, they only got 1.6 last year, so.
Right.
So,
But
but that's what I'm
there's some
saying.
years that we don't have to give it at all.
But
I mean, it's not a
I'm
requirement.
just saying that,
Yeah.
I would like to see some kind of, I'm not saying that we don't need to talk about it. I just don't have any numbers in front of me right now.
Well, we could get that
And-
chart real quick and do the average.
And I know Susie was trying to get stuff together, but I would like to
But-
actually see.
You do know that Susie said that she was putting it in for 7.4%. That would be what it would be.
That was
That
February.
is, we signed this budget, that's
Right.
what it
But
Have
was.
that number.
No,
Have that
if you
number.
sign the budget tonight, it's still on the understanding that you guys haven't agreed on a COLA yet, and the discussion could happen in July, but we
Right.
need to have this budget adopted by June 30th to be in compliance with Oregon
And
budget
that's-
law.
and that's fine.
If it's that, then why do we just need your word? Which I believe you, Susie. I'm not calling you out or doing anything bad like that. It's just, for me, I need to understand. I don't want something to happen and that not get changed, because then our citizens end up with that 7.4 because that's the resolution that we'll sign. It's procedure that I don't like on this.
So, okay, I have an idea. Oh, I'm sorry. She had her hand up.
Can we, is it possible that we, because like the numbers you have, Annie, is it possible that we can get those in black and white, bring them back? And like you said, compare and come to a compromise? Because I remember Susie saying before, we weren't, if we sign the budget, it's the budget. We weren't doing it for the COLA. And I see Pam shaking her head as well. So can we maybe do that? So that we have that information in front of us?
I might go along with that, but I'm gonna have to have something in writing that says that 7.4 is at this point 0, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah,
and
that
bring
it's
it
a
up,
zero.
or whatever it is.
I
If that's
agree.
in there, then I can go with the budget. Otherwise, I'm gonna vote no on it, but.
And then we can change it to what's fair for you guys. If we take the 7.4 to 0 tonight, we'll pass it, under the understanding that council will look at it and, but I do believe they need a raise this year. I do.
No,
But I
I'm not
want it
against
to be
that.
fair because 7.4 is just too big an ask.
So from the budget meeting that we did have, it was discussed that we would omit this component and pass the budget for what we need to do to meet the state law. It was discussed that it would be omitted and come back and come up with a different decision based on that. So I don't understand why we wouldn't just go ahead with the budget that we talked about. That caveat is in black and white and documented already.
Okay, so then I may have the floor.
Go ahead,
I'll
Joe.
ask Susie. Susie, does this budget say anything about that 7.4%?
Is that what the figures are based on?
Yes,
So
Okay.
hang on, the personnel cost is based on the 7.4% COLA. And it was discussed at the budget committee meeting, like Pam said, that my suggestion was to move forward with the budget the way it is, with the understanding that I won't do any COLA until after the council has the discussion on the COLA and decides. I promise. I put it in the email. I mean, I don't know.
But I'm thinking about storms. Keep those functioning. It's like our emergency. We were locked down for days. I mean, what if something like that happens? How do we go back then if we go past that date, Susie?
I don't understand what the storm
Okay,
has
so
to do
you
with it.
had till what date, the end of July, to get, okay, we do it, it's July 1st, then we don't meet till July 7th, okay? What happens if we go past the due date and it gets locked in at 7.4?
You guys can adopt the budget at this meeting before having the COLA discussion. I mean, they're just budgeted numbers. I don't think you're gonna go any higher than 7.4%. If you adopt the budget with the numbers that are in there, you need to have it adopted by June 30th. So the COLA, if you did approve whatever rate you want to approve, it would take effect July 1st. It wouldn't get paid to employees until August 1st. That's our payday. So we can afford the time. You can have the discussion at the July meeting if you want to, and I can be more prepared to bring the information. And everybody on the council could have the information too.
So because I believe the understanding, like you're saying, what if we, for whatever reason, can't have their July meeting? What happens then? Is that what you're asking? Andrea?
Yeah.
So then what happens is we have the meeting, we have the discussion in August and they still don't get a raise until we have that discussion. And then she goes back and back pays them that raise starting July 1st.
I still, I have all the respect, I'm not comfortable, and that's why I think I'm questioning it, and it's not personal of people or promises, it's the policy, the way it's being done, I don't think it's appropriate. That's just my thing.
I don't understand why we can't figure this out. It seems so simple.
Give them the
Bring it
5.1.
down, bring it up, whatever, but it seems so simple rather than passing this now. I don't like to pass stuff unless it's finished. This is a contract, more or less. No matter what you say, it's a contract. And I don't like passing contracts that are not complete. And this is not complete without that figure being in there, because that is money that's being appropriated at that 7.4%. You're not taking it out of there, it's gonna stay in there at 7.4%. And so we're not gonna go back and take it out later. So I just don't like it. I don't like passing things that aren't complete. And this is not complete at this time.
I have to say, I don't appreciate the comment about the cherry picking either. I'm sorry.
Cherry picking is a phrase used for when you go like this and fix something. It's not a personal comment. I'm sorry you took it that way. It was not intended that way at all. Susie, I apologize if you took it that way. It's just a phrase of what they call that kind of thing.
I did check with area city, sorry, Mickey, Mount Angel, I believe it was Mount Angel, did 6% and I forgot who else, somebody else in the area also did 6%. So that's another important component to consider in the COLA. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't have to be 7.4. I do recognize it's a higher than normal number. But it's important to consider the COLA because everybody around us is, to consider what people are doing around us in order for us to keep up with the market and stay competitive, keep our compensation within the market of everybody else.
Would it be possible to maybe do, because we've got this whole month, is it maybe something that we could all get together and do a meeting, have that information in front of us, come up with the dedicated answer for the budget and find it then if everybody's in agreement? I mean, we've done it
Goes
before.
to meeting
So
procedure, we'd have to put out a public notice, I think, and that would be fine with me. We do have a work session next week. Could we change it to another meeting? I'm not sure.
The other thing too to consider is legally, we have to post a publication in the paper and that costs $457 to run. And so if you want to hold another meeting, we'll be looking at that same cost again.
Well, it could cause, there's a mistake in my mind. Go ahead, John.
Well, it's $400 or 7.4%. I wonder what that 7.4% figures up to.
You guys
It's gonna
have
be a
held me-
lot higher than $400.
You guys have held me to my word before with the minutes that are documented on record. I think I've demonstrated over the last 14 years that you can trust me. It really hurts to sit here and watch you guys fight. I love our staff, and that's what's kept me here. I have had plenty of offers to go somewhere else, but you know what? I've turned it down because I love our staff. Never have we experienced this before. I'm sorry, but that's what's on my heart.
Yeah.
You're sharing. Go ahead, John.
Susie, and I appreciate that you love our staff. But you know what? You're here for the city of Jervis, the people that are sitting right here and everybody out here that voted us into office. And I appreciate your feelings for everybody here. I have nothing against any of these guys either. But we got to get this right. That's what we're here to do. And so you can take it personally, but it shouldn't be personally to you.
We're here to do a job, Susan.
But all I'm hearing is you guys arguing about stuff. You're not getting anything done.
I would love to get things done. We've got goals that we haven't seen at all in 2 years. I mean, there's factors that come into play. I've been wondering about that too. Where's our goals that we worked on? Why aren't they being brought through? Why do we have resolutions that are out of date? Why do we have parks dated in 2008? Why don't we have these things done? Now, I am asking those questions too. I'm trying. I'm a new mayor. I'm not perfect, but I do ask questions. There's been things like we try to work on something and then our council rules got waylaid, so we had to spend more time there. There's just factors all across the board. I don't think it's fair just to say council. And yes, we are here for them. They're the ones paying the bills. That's all.
I can right now agree to 5%. If these guys can agree to it, we can get that put in right now. And it can be done and this thing can go through and it's complete. There's no going back. These guys can agree with that. 5%, I believe, is pretty good.
More than Hubbard.
I'm fine with 5% as long as we come back and discuss how we actually want to do this.
Diana,
in the future.
we need to do it on a CPI. If we do that, Hubbard has another thing they use that I would like to talk with Charles again and see what they do. Because they use Charles, are you out there? What is the thing that you used? Can you type the answer?
But yeah, I mean, when we can have that discussion later, you know, if you said, what did you say Hubbard was at?
4.6.
And you said.
Mount Angel was 6.
So,
And
yeah, I mean,
Angel
we're kind of
has
splitting
75
the difference with
businesses.
5.
5%.
I mean, like, I'm fine with that today if that's gonna move this forward so that we can actually just move forward.
So we can move forward.
I just don't wanna, I don't want to just have Susie be confused again next year as to what she's supposed to be using.
No, I think you're right. We're doing a workshop on the water bill and because a citizen brought that. And I think maybe we could talk about that, how we do it at the same meeting.
Okay, so are we gonna need a motion on this? If so, I'll make a motion that we accept 5% rather than the 7.4. Then we go do our public hearing. Move on.
Can I get a second?
I will second.
Can we go with 5%? And then find out it's more,
No,
won't be more. We can't state it.
we can change the way we do it next year if we did it, but no, this is a lock-in agreement. And, you know, we don't have the business that Brownians will have. We don't have the workload that they have. So I mean, all of those figures need to come into it. And it's not that they don't do a good job. We have great staff. That's not it. But we need to be fair to our
Point of
citizens.
order.
Uh,
We have a motion in a second.
Oh, okay. Is any more discussion? Okay, I'll take a roll call on this. John,
Yes.
Diana,
Yes.
Nikki, Junior, Pam. That's unanimous, all in favor of the 5%, so carried.
In that direction.
Susie, thank you.
Been great over 14 years, so just remember that.
Thank you, Nikki.
Long way from city recorder.
Okay, so knowing that we've done that, budget hearing for 2022-23 fiscal year, open the hearing. I'm opening it. Is there any public testimony now on it? Any additional questions and comments? Not hearing any, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can we adopt the resolution 22004, a resolution adopting the 2022-23 budget, making appropriations, imposing the tax and categorizing the tax? Do I need to state the new resolution to be added in there?
It's the resolution listed on the agenda.
Okay, but that, okay.
I'll make an adoption, but I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution 22-004, a resolution adopting the 2022-23 budget, making appropriations, imposing the tax and categorizing the tax.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it and the motion carries. Any questions on the tracker?
Can I go back? Who seconded that last motion?
Okay. Okay, we're on the old business, the activity tracker. Was there any questions tonight? Action items, adopt resolution 22005, budget transfers for fiscal year 2021-22. Is there figures in that? I'm kind of lost. Are those accurate then since we did a change? All this would carry the same.
They are accurate. This is separate from the new budget that you just adopted.
Okay, that's what I was trying to distinguish. Okay, so, do I do those all three together or separately, Susie?
Each resolution separately.
Okay. Adopt resolution 2022-005 budget transfers for fiscal year 2021-22.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can you
Sure.
explain this, Susie?
Yes. So budget law allows us to make one transfer at the end of the year. And so the purpose of these transfers is to cover extra expenditures for legal fees that we had, and also to cover extra surveying fees that we had for our street projects for the grant funds. We had it appropriated in the construction line item. I was able to transfer from the construction up to professional services to cover the surveying.
You got any other questions on this? May I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 22-005 budget transfers for fiscal year 2021-22.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll next move to resolution 22-006, requesting state revenue sharing funds.
What's that about?
Oh, that's to elect, we are basically telling the Department of Revenue that we want to receive our cigarette tax, marijuana tax, all that.
Motion?
It keeps going down, doesn't it? The marijuana funds that we
The
get.
yeah, the marijuana funds, the formula changed in it. They had the formula based a different way. Now I believe it's based on the number of dispensaries a community has, which we have none, so that's why it's gone down.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 22-006, requesting state revenue sharing fund.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution 22-007, establishing the Public Works Vehicle Equipment Replacement Fund.
This one is based off the budget that we just did, right?
Yeah,
Having
and this is
revenue.
the money for the water trucks, right?
For anything lawn mowers,
Okay, that's for your
tractors,
department.
public works.
Okay, can I get a motion, please?
I make a motion to resolution 22-007, establishing the Public Works Vehicle / Equipment Replacement Fund.
And second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion carries. New business, the circus report consideration to host in 2024. You guys want to have the circus back? You can have the floor, Nikki.
The circus actually offered, because they really like coming here and they like the turnout, and a lot of their folks are Latinos and they feel really comfortable here. We were talking and they are contemplating if we want them back, doing a weekend where we would have them here like a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, and they would do a minimum of 2 shows per day. And looking at the revenue that we got from this, I mean, normally that kind of a thing is left for cities like Malala or Kaiser that are bigger. So this would be an amazing position for us to be able to raise even more money. So like, you know, when the skate park comes to fruition, or we want to build another park, or, you know, whatever the need may be at that point, this is a great way to get that money. And I mean, I was completely shocked at how much came in. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Do you know if the school would be okay with having the and set up like overnight? On
It'd
their
be in the
grounds?
weekend. And I kind of had a small conversation, but with work, and I'm at work at 5
I
o'clock.
mean,
in the morning,
obviously, we
so-
don't have to commit to it right now. I'm just
Right.
thinking like that tears up the grass more, having it longer, but
It does.
I don't know how much damage it normally does.
I will say this, Culpeper Merriweather, one of the things, and I think, Dr. Holmes isn't on there anymore. He and I had spoken about the grounds and whether or not they had to make the grounds off limits the next school day.
Okay.
And they didn't.
Okay.
These guys are extremely professional. They come in really quick, they set up really quick, they do their shows. I mean, they were in there scarfing down 2 bites of a taco with
In
that,
the interest
so.
of time, we all like the circus, but, is there anything opposing it? So would you guys like to have them back? Okay, so let's move that forward. I think that's just discussion. I don't think we need to have any action at this time.
Everybody seemed to like it.
Yeah, that would be fine. Can we get a consensus to call them and say yes?
I'm good with that.
Okay, the consensus carries. Go ahead. Schedule.
Did I hear that Mickey's gonna call?
Scheduling a public hearing for July 7th, 2022 for file vacation 2021-02 petition to vacate a public alley in block 68 down by Ivy, Hemlock 7th and 8th, submitted by Scott Michelson. Anybody objected to that? Are you okay with the hearing of July 7th? Okay, so I guess consensus that July 7th. Suzie, go ahead.
Yeah, we actually need a motion and it's provided, Holly provided a staff report in the packet.
Yeah.
It's page 118.
I will make a motion to schedule a public hearing to consider a petition for vacation of the public alley in block 68, also referenced as file number VAC 2021-02 to be held during the next regular meeting of the city council, which is Thursday, July 7th, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Okay,
Not seconded.
okay, all in favor, say aye. Guys, have that motion carries. Authorize the purchase of the city hall generator. This is the generator that we've been waiting for. It's, natural gas, and it's what we didn't have during the storm to have a command center. We were shut down. We had no way of communicating. Our staff, our emergency team, I just want to brief on this. I'm the mayor. I'm pretty ornamental. Susie Marsden is our qualified city manager, and the chief Chase and John, our water people, are our emergency team. They're the ones that have the contact with PGE. They're our PR people. But our job as council is pretty much just help our neighbors, which I think we all did. So in the future, I just think that we should have a command center. So our chief wasn't using his police car for trying to, he'd come by and brief me, but for 2 days I didn't have a phone and I was, out doing things. So I'm hoping that this generator can go through because that is something Jervis needs. It's not something we want, it's need. And that's what I have to say about it. Mickey?
When you talk about the emergency response with all of these guys, we also have our CERT team here.
We never
and-
mobilized that trailer during that storm though.
No, because we did not, CERT has to be dispatched. But in the city, now I've found out through Marion County that in this kind of a situation, as long as the chief and the city manager, they mobilize it, because you guys do have that communication with all of you utilities, that we can use it. There is, I believe, a generator in there. It's obviously not big enough to power here for an EOC, or I'm sorry, Emergency Operations Center. But we can use that. It can be a mobile command center.
That would have been nice because I was changing oxygen tanks every 2 hours. It would have been nice to have that assistance so that I could have been out doing something different. Yeah. So I'm hoping that council says, let's roll. What do you guys say?
We appropriated the money in the budget, right?
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. That's for the citizens during the storms.
So I make a motion to approve the purchase and installation from Northside Electric for $34,650, including a 10% contingency.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The motion carries. Jervis now will get the emergency service radio that will kick on. Yes,
Real
you
quick on the
can.
generator.
Yes.
Does it have a diesel backup on it? Because, in case of emergency like this, we're talking about gas lines going down too and being disrupted. So
I'm
does it
not
have a
sure on that, but Chief,
Yes, it'll have the capability to switch over to diesel fuel if necessary.
okay. I am interactive. I always, if people come to me here, have no problem at letting me ask questions. I kind of go off the hinge, I do break the rules. Yeah. So now we're gonna move to staff reports and move to city manager Marsden's report.
I provided my written report in the packet. Does anybody have questions about that? I do have a couple of extra items.
That water study that we did, is that already all paid for, that 153,000 thing? And then Susie, this is off the chart, but I want to ask you on that 20-year study, do we have one of those? Is that what you're talking about with Holly Breyer, the 20-year study that we need to have for, is that,
That's in the city's general plan.
so we already have that?
We do it with, there's all kinds of different components to it. The three components, buildable lands inventory, economic analysis, and the housing needs analysis were all
Is that part of-
updated in 2014.
I'm a little confused where that's at. Is that in the,
I have a copy in my office.
I just want it for general knowledge, so I know what I'm talking about, but we do have a 20-year plan in place then?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
How many years are left on it?
2014.
So,
These master plans were planned out to 2035.
right, I know that, but I just wondered about that 20-year requirement. We don't need that done right away, right?
I guess I'm not very clear on the 20-year requirement.
I'll get some more things that I was reading and try to give it, but I have some questions about that to make sure that we're up to date on that. So,
Yeah,
it's just a
you can-
curiosity thing with me. I do like to know what I'm talking about. I don't, I'll ask.
Yeah, I think we all do.
So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I have my written report. I also wanted to let the council know that we do have a land use application that was submitted for multi-housing, multi-family development on a vacant property on Winfield. I think you all know where I'm talking about.
Is that Joe Reese's old property?
Yeah. It's gonna be scheduled to take place also at the July 7th council meeting. Yes, a public hearing. I talked to Holly about it and she just wanted me to remind the council, and I'll just read right from her email, that land use applications are governed by a specific set of state rules which say that the decision makers should only consider information provided during the public hearing available to all parties. This means the application, staff findings, consulting agency / department comments, and any testimony received. Council should not discuss with each other, their family, friends, and neighbors, and this of course includes social media and other online forums. If they do, council will need to disclose the ex parte contact and the information they acquired so that all parties are operating on the same information. So I just wanted to put out that reminder because we don't deal with these public hearings very often. So,
And I did that, and I had to recuse myself, so I learned from that. I was a brand new mayor. So I admit that I did do that. That's part of why I got rid of the mayor page. And not that I should do it on personal, but, yeah.
My question is, so you don't have a specific date on that yet?
the public hearing will take place July 7th.
During the meeting. And you said it's an apartment going in or?
Multifamily development.
Multifamily development, okay. So similar to what we have in Ivy Woods, but maybe
No.
apartments?
No, they are.
They're all gonna be apartments?
Duplexes, yeah. That's what multifamily means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just.
Yeah. The last thing, I actually have a very special announcement. I mentioned I love my staff and I really, really do. I forgot to acknowledge Abby.
Aww.
Sorry.
Go.
Well, we were sure.
Give
that
me
you
a minute.
met Everybody.
Chief Chase was awarded the DARE Law Enforcement Executive of the Year. Together with our former Lieutenant Craig Seibel, we nominated him for this award and found out he was selected last week. So
Nice.
congratulations.
Very nice. I love our Dare program.
And I have the nomination letter, but I really don't think I can get through it. So,
Will you just copy it for us?
yes, I'll do that. Sorry. Sorry, Chief, but congratulations.
So thank you. It's been an emotional meeting. So.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Chief,
I'll let my written report,
thank you. I do have one. John,
I will, but I'm going to add a little
you're
bit.
fine, please
Quick.
do.
I have a few questions of the chief. Now, I heard this in our last meeting that we had, somebody asked you the question of, you drive those cars home? You said yes.
Yes.
In the past, I asked you if you drove those cars home, you said no. So I'm wondering why we're driving them home now. And it seems like at that time, there would have been only one car, now we're driving two cars home. Seems like that with the budget of our police department. Seems like that's, to me, is an unnecessary thing that we have there. Also, I'd like to ask about why those two cars that I think, I might be wrong on this part, whether they're both cars are the ones that are unmarked that are being driven home. Why aren't those cars marked Jervis Police on them? Our cars should be marked. And our policy in Jervis has always been that the police department does not drive those cars home. Always been that way. Go clear back past Samson South. Nobody ever drove those cars home. And all of a sudden, well, part of the reason I'm talking about this is the gas prices. It's costing the city more money for you guys to drive those cars home. It's almost, in essence, giving you guys a raise. And I don't think that was ever approved. Who authorized that anyway? Was that you?
Councilor Harvey, I think that's an administrative function that the city manager should probably weigh in on. That it's delving into.
Well,
sorry, there's a conversation going on.
yeah, could you hold on, Pam? We're
I know, I
talking.
told her that I would know in a moment.
Anyway, so I'm not quite what you just, what did you just say?
I just said that's an administrative function that's dealt to the city manager. I'd be happy to answer questions, but I think I'd defer to the city manager to talk about that. I'd be more than happy to address some of the logistical reasons why that we have at some point. But I'll refer to the city manager on that at this point.
Reason being is that our chief of police, he's a working chief of police, and our lieutenant are both on call after hours. And so by them taking a vehicle home, they're able to respond to a call rather than have to go to the garage, transfer personal car, working car. I mean, if they get a call in the middle of the night, they can just respond a lot faster. So it's for public safety reasons.
Well, that might be
And
part
I'll
of it.
add that the ice storm that the mayor talked about, I was able to get on the computer, get access to information, coordinate things. And once I was able to get free, because I was locked in with trees as well, I was able to get here in a timely manner. I was able to set up a command post 24/7 for the city. And so it's just a logistical thing that I feel is important to provide emergency response to the city. Sometimes the sheriff's office is not able to respond, and we're able to get here in a timely manner. It's I was not aware of any. I was not aware of or ever seen any policy that says that a police officer in Jervis is not supposed to
Well,
take a car home.
did somebody drive one home when you first started working here? I don't believe so.
Occasionally they did, yes.
Well, that was the case. If they had something, some function to attend that was happening early in the morning, something where they did, then they did. And that was the case. And that's, we allowed that, but we didn't allow the cars to go home. And anyway.
I understand your concern. I just, it's just one of those things that.
What I'm looking at is our
No, I
budget,
understand.
and our police department. Is about 2/3 of this budget of this city.
Right.
And to me, that would be a great savings. I mean, you live out in Salem somewhere, out west, South Salem,
Didn't say that.
so probably about 20 miles out,
About 18.
18, so about 18, we'll say 18 to 20 miles. So there's 40 miles a day extra that we're paying for gas and wear and tear on those vehicles. And so, you know, if it's an emergency, I got no problem with you guys driving this car. But As far as just driving them home every day, I have a problem with that.
I'm wondering about the necessity.
That's something that Susan and I can talk about and,
Pam has something, excuse me, Councilor Foreman, did you have before?
Yeah, Councilor Hardy, could you tell me about the Jervis policy that we've had forever, that we don't take,
You have to go back in the records and look, but it's just been that way all along.
I'm not aware of it written,
Well,
so I'm
you-
just trying to
Well,
understand
you know
your
what? I'm gonna
position.
go back in the records and I'll find it.
That'd be
for you.
wonderful, thank
I
you.
will.
So we're determined this and that. I want to ask this, you know, we have sidewalks and all kinds of stuff that we're just like not getting. I know we got safe roads, we got all these things like we couldn't afford lights. Chief, what would be wrong with, okay, let's compromise. How about one of you guys go on call and one doesn't? And then when one isn't, the one car doesn't go home. I mean, he's not wrong. Gas prices are really expensive and wear and tear. I guess I didn't know you drove them home. Gas prices are insane, but if we have one on call that can get to that computer or be in charge till the other can get there, I mean, we can always reimburse you for your miles if there's an emergency or something, but I don't think it takes two. We have that, I mean, like, would that be something we could look at?
I would be interested in seeing the policy that was set, because I'm not aware of anything that says that we can't do this, and it's an administrative function. And I support them taking a vehicle home to be able to respond in a more timely manner.
You call that an administrative function, but you're spending taxpayer dollars, and I believe that this council should have had some say in that. I think it should have been brought here, and then we could have made the decision on it, because you're spending
We need to
taxpayers.
be informed, but it wasn't informed.
Not at all. I knew nothing about it until it came up there. So I'm wondering why that doesn't happen. Why don't we get the knowledge of these things? I would like to see those things. Can't make a decision if I don't have the information. I've told you that many times. I would
We're not-
appreciate it.
Okay, I understand this administration function, but the council, no one's over us. I mean, we're the governing body, and I know you've been appointed to do that. That is in the charter that you can hire, fire, and supervise, and that you do administrative things. But this council is where you're accountable. So what did you mean by administrative function? I mean, I'm just trying to understand now.
Yeah, by the charter, the council gives me authority to oversee the police department, public works, the administration,
Okay.
and the daily,
Fair
day-to-day operation. of
But
it.
if they tell
So-
you they want it different, do you have to change it? Or do you, if the council, the governing body that's in charge of, is your boss, if we tell you we don't want that, we can make a resolution to change any of that, or we would have to change the charter if we wanted it different?
Sure, but I would like to hear from the whole.
I know, I'm just asking the procedure on it since John, you know,
I'm just saying, this is, I just support them taking a vehicle home in order for them
Okay.
to respond in a timely manner. He has a good point during the ice storm. He had his special police computer in his car. He was unable to leave his driveway. I lost my train of thought.
I get your,
I understand the concern and I appreciate what's been brought forward, and Susan and I will meet and discuss your concerns and look at your recommendations, but
can I get there's some information, I'm thinking a cost projection, how much your mileage going home is for the last year, and I'm gonna want I'd like to see some data on it, so we could see if it outweighs, maybe to John's point, does it outweigh that, you know, this is costing too much? Can we get some cost on that? What it's costing us to send those cars home with them? And can we do that? I mean, for data in front of us? I know that I'm thinking I'm awfully tired tonight. I can't remember the name of things I want, but I'm thinking I'd like to see what it's cost us. What is that costing us? And what could we be saving if maybe we just did one car and on call, or maybe we did it a different way where we reimbursed? Maybe a different computer for home that he can get onto. I don't know, but if we could have cost projections, maybe that can help us all understand that maybe it's, you know, it's something we can afford, or maybe it's something we can't.
I can tell you, if you want to purchase a different computer for him to use at home, that cost is going to far outweigh the cost. of gas.
Okay, and I'm just saying, okay, but a cost projection, what does this cost us to send 2 cars home per year? I'd just like to see what it costs. And how many more miles are being put on in that year than they would, you know, how much wear and tear are we getting? That would probably answer a good question, right? I mean, it's data. I think data would
Those are great
support.
questions, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have another question. This computer you use here, what is that for? This, with the laptop you got there, what is that for?
General operations,
So you
emails.
use that quite a bit when you're not in the car then, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same as a mobile data computer. When I'm responding from an emergency to here, like the stabbing we had, I can't use the laptop sitting in a passenger seat. It has the data, it's connected to CAD. Different configuration than this computer here. This computer is not a CAD related computer.
Okay, but do both of you need to have the cars at home and one of you could do that until the other one gets there? I mean.
Again, I'll be happy to talk to Susie. I don't know what the consensus of the council is. Again, it's one of these things where does the line, where does the line be drawn as far as what Susie or what the police department or what Public Works or what the court has to inform the council about?
Well,
administrative
everything, I
function?
believe, is what our charter says. We are to be informed. You're not over us.
There are certain things that I can't share with you that
Well,
are.
we're not talking about criminal things, Chief.
and,
We're talking about policy,
Right.
driving cars home, things that affect the
That's a big- that's-
taxpayer.
and I
That's what we're talking about. So let's not take it
Can I
there.
finish, Mayor,
Yes,
please?
yeah.
Okay, I have heard your concerns. And I have offered a couple of times now that Susie and I will review this issue and we will report back to you.
Well, I
I've heard your
appreciate that.
concerns. That's all I can say at this point, bring you back some data that you requested. And I think they're great questions and we'll provide that information for you.
I'd be interested in hearing what the rest of the council thinks on the matter.
Well, they can speak up at any time and have a voice, Susie.
And just ask.
I would like to see in the information, I mean, I can see both sides. And working closely with EMS, being on the fire engines, being in an ambulance on shifts, I see the different computers and how much different they are. I can see that. I can understand with the rising gas prices, but I think I would like to see, to start us off, I would really like to see where it's in black and white that it says that cars are not allowed, because if that's the case, then we kind of have to start from there.
Well, that's what I think. I think we need to look at our charter like we did our council rules, because I think, you know, I think that why not? These things need to be reviewed. I mean, we just got told that we needed money in the budget for it. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, maybe we should look at everything. Go ahead.
So I'm with Mickey, I kind of see both sides of it. Something else I'd like to see is just how much, so not only how much is it costing, but like you're on call, how much do you actually get called back in?
Yes, there.
Does that make sense? Like, okay, yes, you're paying, you know, X number of dollars a year, but we're also responding this many times because it's necessary. I'd like to see
Yeah,
that.
that would be a
Cost
good thing.
analysis for that.
I'm not against it. It's not
haven't
this side or
tracked
that
that.
side. It's, I want
I can give
information.
you some anecdotal. I mean,
Right.
there'd be a lot of work to go back, try to figure out.
Right, and that's
what's
fine,
wrong.
but even just some, you know, some general, like, oh, I think I get called in twice a month, or I think I get called in twice a week, like that kind of stuff. It's,
It's multiple times a month that the last issue was about 1 o'clock in the morning when Marion came out 3 times. And the 4th call was a domestic issue, and I'm talking to a lady that was pretty intoxicated over the phone. And while I'm talking to her and responding in, talked her into going to the park to meet the medics to make sure that she wasn't injured. And it turned out the Marion County Sheriff's Office was right. She was not injured. And so there's things like that, you know, that took, you know, quite a bit of time. And so it's nice to have all your resources and your gear here. So if we responded and you had an emergency at your home, then I'm not wasting time in my POV. There's some liability concerns if I'm responding from my home or my lieutenant's responding from his home to an emergency. He can't run code 3 in a private vehicle. If he does crash in his private vehicle, the city could be responsible for that. So there's a lot of information that's pretty common. I realize that Council Harvey said that's a long-standing rule. I wasn't aware of that. But it's pretty common practice that generally the chief and the second command do take vehicles home for responding and managing things. So it's a common practice. I see your points and I see both sides of it, and I think we could bring back some information to share with you, and you guys can make a decision on how you want to handle that.
I'm just a factual person. I just want to know it's worth the money that we're spending. That's why I will ask the way I do. Sometimes I guess I come off offensive, but I just want to know the facts.
So all this time, yeah, I mean, when did you start driving home? It hasn't been that long. Anyway, just, that doesn't matter. Just go back when you decided to start driving home, you hadn't been doing it that before. The other chief hadn't been doing it. All of a sudden this changed and then you guys start driving home? It all seems to come around right about the time the gas goes up. That's my point. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, it's not the
Okay,
case.
well, we'll wait for that information. Thank you.
Chief Johnson did take his car to the house and put it in his garage. There were multiple, yeah, he was a previous chief. I think it was Johnson.
I don't even know. I know my dad only let it happen. Go ahead.
Ron, there was a lot of discussion here just now. Can I get a paraphrase or a consensus of exactly what we're doing here or information we're bringing back?
Okay, the information you're bringing back is we would like to have costs for the year, for a year. That Councilman Arch would like to know how many times they get called in from an emergency. Right? Did I get that right?
Approximately.
You know, these are just statistics that could show that it's well worth it. You know, it's not going to automatically go the other way, but I like to see, I like to see it in front of me.
Does that answer your question?
No, are we getting a consensus or is this, is everybody in agreement that this is what we're bringing? This is a directive?
Yeah.
You're welcome to the chair. You betcha.
See
Go ahead, Junior.
I can see the point that you brought up about if they use their own personal car, should they get in the car accident by coming in?
You're right, but we're responsible whether they're in their car or the Jervis police car. We're still responsible.
Oh, we
No,
can look
we're
at that
gonna-
too. You have a
If
good
we
point.
get sued, we're gonna get sued either way. But, you know,
Okay, well, it was an interesting topic because I didn't know you drove home either. Yeah, we used to remove us.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was it answered why the cars aren't labeled?
Oh,
and
yeah, we should be having identifiers, I think.
I'll tell you why I think they should be labeled. It's a deterrent. When a burglar or anybody sees a car that says police on it, they're gonna walk down the street. They see a black car sitting out there. That might not mean nothing to them, but when they see police on the side of it, that's why I believe we need to have those cars painted up. Put the name on there. It's Jervis, Jervis Police. We need our names on those cars.
Go ahead.
I kind of agree with that, John, but on the other hand, I don't, because you guys know on 4th of July, we always have a lot of people with the illegal fireworks. We've had one kid blow their hand off. Being in a marked police car, we have this thing where we have this telephone thing where people are on their bikes or they're at the location. And as soon as they see, as they call it, the popos, they go and they hide, or they call their friends and tell them, hey, they're coming. I think all of the cars should be marked, but maybe one of them, like the chief's vehicle, could be unmarked so that he can get around incognito or ninja-like, I guess.
That's all.
You know, and see, you know, I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I know sometimes.
And I understand what you're saying, but you gotta remember, this is Jervis. And how many of those guys have been blowing them off have we caught now with those unmarked cars?
There
You caught some that way?
there have, I think, been a few that have been caught by people calling and saying, hey, I'm following the addresses, so I don't know.
But how many do we have that are unmarked? Two? Why not just have one? I mean, a compromise is what I'm looking for here.
The chief's car would be unmarked and the other one would be.
I don't know, but I do see the point, because I get more scared if I see a marked car. I'm trying to think logically, and we're just not that big. We're just not, we're lucky to have all of you, but we're not that big to have the force we have at all, that I've seen comparatively, but we are fortunate to have it. I'm not saying anything against it, but I see we've got a really big police force for who we are. Wow. So that's.
All of ours are marked.
Got an excellent.
We have a big one, more than cities even that are bigger than us have less. So did that answer your question?
It did, and I would just say that as a woman, if I'm driving by myself, I would be less likely to pull over if someone in a car with no markings told me to go to a safe spot, whatever. If it says police, I'm good. If it says nothing, I'm not.
I wouldn't stop in I've seen too many cop shows or killer shows. I would be hesitant myself. So I get that. I mean, that's a legitimate point.
It's a legitimate point, but how many unmarked cars do we see on the freeway? I see some vehicles that look like mine and they're police cars. I see Chargers, I see Camaros. I've seen a Corvette and a Lamborghini police cars because they get them at auction. So, yes, I know, but I'm just saying it's kind of a, it's a catch
I
22.
think there's points on both sides
Yeah,
of that. And I think we
exactly.
need to move on. Yeah, please. John?
This is more of a operational issue on, as far as the wastewater system and an improvement. To not be too complicated, our lagoon system basically is a 1, 2, 3 lagoon system. The first lagoon takes all the waste that comes out of the 4th Street lift station. At the present time, all we have is a bar screen, which is basically about 5 steel bars at an angle. So when a pump pumps, it catches whatever it can. What it doesn't do is go into the first lagoon. The last sludge test we did on that lagoon was in 2018, and we were about 15 to 18%. I'm having another sludge test done in September of this year to give me a benchmark to where I'm at. Normally at about 25 to 30% of sludge, you have to take that lagoon offline and dredge it, which is a very costly measure. So what we're recommending is we put a solids collector in, which would basically either keep our existing headworks, or that might have to be improved to where basically there's a fine screen and an auger that takes all the flushable wipes that aren't flushable, the plastics, all the stuff that does not break down in the lagoon, takes it up, puts it into a container, and it's disposed of. The price tag we're looking at is right around $500,000.
Could ARPA be used for that?
We have enough SDC money to do that. So the ARPA money would not be applied to that because that's a separate fund.
We have money in reserve for that. in
The SDC funds.
For the
and-
water.
No, this would be wastewater.
Wastewater. Because isn't that, this Tetra Tech thing, there's so many improvements that they've asked for. Is that something that they recommended back then, or is this something?
Oh, yes.
So they recommend, there's a lot of stuff they recommended that never even got touched.
Well, no, it's on a
Right.
5, 10,
Oh.
15,
So
20
that's
year
coming.
scale,
When
but
was that ending now? Are we about the time they said?
this
it
should
was?
be, this should have been done,
A couple years ago?
yeah.
See, because I think I know what you're talking about, because I've been reading it.
Yeah.
So it's overdue, is what you're telling me.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, John.
And didn't you say that was gonna be a requirement by the state anyway, eventually?
Probably, but I think it would, because to dredge a lagoon, nobody will even give you a price. It could be $1 million, $1.5 million, it could be $2 million because you're dealing with hazardous waste.
Now, where would that be placed?
It'll be placed at the headworks.
What do you mean, out there?
Yeah, out there at the first, between the first and second lagoon where that one building is where all the electrical cabinets are, that concrete channel.
And then what would you use for a catch basin?
It's just either a sock or a trash can or a small dumpster. Just goes right in because it's
That
not,
would handle all of that? going out of there?
yeah, because it separates it.
separate, but it seems to me like there'd be a lot more.
No, I mean, some of the units have basically like a sausage sock that hangs off the end of it.
John, what do you need from us to maybe?
I would
maybe
just like a
consider this?
consensus to move forward so that we can go to the design stage and, you
And
know,
this is something in the Tetra Tech, the $153,000 study that they're saying we
No,
should
no,
do,
no, no.
or
well, they did the study, but that was the master
but
plan.
the recommendations.
Yes.
Thank you.
But-
Okay, I get that too confused.
But
See, I'm learning.
the thing about the master plan is you could have $10 million in your SDC fund. But if you don't have a master plan, you can't spend it.
Well, I know we need
So
it. I'm not saying we. need it,
that's
'cause
why
we got
that
a lot
was
of them.
done, so that,
But I'm trying to figure out, because I can visualize it, I'm trying to visualize where I see this, so you just help me with that.
yeah. I would just like a consensus to where we could move forward. Because it could take, you know, I don't know how many months to design it, and it has to go out to bid. But
Sue, what's your take on it? Same thing?
I would recommend it because it would really take the stress off of the system and increases the capacity and the efficiency. It'll preserve the aeration system.
Yeah.
Prolong the dredging.
right now, we're having to pull aerators sometimes every 2 weeks. Because they rag up.
What was the cost on the dredging part? You don't have an
I think-
idea. And you've done it, how long ago would that be done?
The last time it was done was in 2001, when they put the liners in the first and second lagoon.
Do you happen to remember anywhere what the price was on that?
I don't know.
I know it's way more
Yeah,
now.
I think that was part of that sewer loan that was done back then.
Well, I seen what you're talking about, and if it's a recommendation we should have been doing, I would say that council, we need to really maybe get her done.
You got the
Thank you.
money.
So a quick question. In regards to the pumps and what have you in the lagoon, have you noticed what kind of an increase since Ivy Woods went in? Have you noticed that it's at a higher capacity or is it
No, the
still kind of?
flows, the flows aren't that more.
Okay.
It's just, that, number one, the development's not 100% complete.
True.
But it's just between COVID and everybody being home and flushing things they shouldn't flush.
Come on, you want a Barbie doll, you know it.
You know, there's, you know, it's just put a load on the first lagoon that in normal pre-COVID wouldn't happen. And so the solids collector would extend the life of the lagoon, not having to dredge maybe for 10 years. And if we get all the solids out of there and the rags and all that stuff, the pond becomes more healthy and the sludge could break down even more to where maybe 15 years before you have to.
You're gonna let us know when this happens, so we don't have to be here for this.
Okay, so let's try to, you know, like, can I get the consensus for John and them to move forward on this? I think we should.
I'm
What
good.
is that? I don't have a vote, so I'm just getting the
Design,
consensus.
the
I'm
money.
trying to teach people that have never been here, that I don't have a real say in this now. So, I'm good, John? Okay, so I think that, Pam, so the consensus is passed that you can go ahead and move forward, John? Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
I have a couple questions for John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, like totally different. I
Absolutely, go ahead, Diana.
They're super easy questions. One, what happened to our speed signs? Are they out for repair?
Yes.
Okay. I just know, all of a sudden they were gone. I was like, where'd they
No,
go?
we sent them out and had them, they were upgraded
Okay.
and the LEDs started to burn out. So before the warranty was up, we packed them up and shipped them back.
On those signs. I asked you guys to get me some information about how many feeders were coming in town. Did you ever get that information?
I didn't pull it.
Well, you were going to. That's what I asked you. I was asking you about it. You said you weren't sure, so you went and checked. Then you guys were gonna tell me you had to get it from some certain spot or something. You're supposed to bring that information back.
I remember that conversation.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Are you talking about when you asked to get that?
But when they come back, we'll get the data to you.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
they
I
have-
appreciate it, because that's kind of an important information. It tells you how many speeders are coming in this way or that way, where to concentrate your cars. Your market.
Okay, so John, were you done with the report? Do you have-
Yes, that,
Okay, well, thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you, everybody.
A couple more quick, they're super quick questions, I promise. So, there's been some questions as to the splash pad. Do we have the parts and you're opening it once it gets hot? Okay, and then how often do you water the flowers on Douglas? Do they get watered every day?
They get watered every day automatically and they get fertilized once a week.
Okay, so we have automatic water.
Yes.
Okay,
I have a question. Banners for the 4th of July. Have
They-
you found them?
The banners were delivered. They don't fit our poles, so they were sent back. And he sent me an email, said we should have them by Tuesday.
Oh, so they'll be here on the 4th?
Yes,
Oh, thank you for that, because I told Renee I would ask.
yeah, they just didn't fit our piping on the top.
Okay, well, that'll look nice
So,
for
yeah.
the 4th celebration. Okay, so,
No, what's really nice for the fourth is to have a couple of banners that hang in some of our bedrooms.
yeah, I'm moving towards the veterans wall, which we're gonna get back into. But yeah, that would have been nice. But I'm hoping for a more permanent solution in junior, the veterans wall.
It's, I was told by several people that we're moving a little bit too fast, that we're gonna forget a lot of things.
Right, and Rocky, the engineer Charles that you talked to,
With the National Guard?
yes, I'd like to meet with him, all of us, or just junior. This guy is talking about helping us cost-wise, engineering, what it would look like. They can come in and their engineers would do the work.
They could
Maybe
do the skateboard park and the ball at no
Maybe.
charge.
they're talking about maybe.
As far as like the,
They got engineers in the guard that can do the whole, build everything for you and pretty much do it for your city. But we gotta get Charles in and he can, and address your guys' thing. But it sounds like they could build your skateboard park at no cost and your, veterans wall because.
Yeah, but so can you give Susie or somebody
Yeah,
the
I'll give you
contact
his
information? Susie, is that all right? Okay.
And that's coming from a not a Jervis resident. I'm an outsider, okay?
You're-
No strings attached to nobody. I'm kidding.
No.
You have the floor. Thank you.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say that I want to and have offered to partner for the vets wall. And if you're gonna do meetings with others, I'd like to be included. in
I
that.
think anybody that wants to help, this, there's gonna be brick cells, I'm hoping, because I think they still do it that way too. I think it's wonderful. Anybody that wants to partake, that is, we do those meetings the first Tuesday after, this meeting. The next Tuesday, there will be a meeting and that can be put on that agenda. We have a great group of community members. And if you want to partner with that, then maybe when it's on the agenda, you should come now. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a nice
department
project.
out there that you can bring into it.
Okay, and can I get this meeting adjourned?
Oh, I did have one more question for that John. The bathrooms, are they going to be open?
Yes, they will.
Okay. The National Night Out is planned for the first Tuesday
Of August,
of August, and we will be needing the
movie screen.
and of course, the pyramid.
Are you gonna do something about this side of town? Because they felt, whether it's right or wrong, they felt discluded. They felt like, and there's no parking over there at Black Walnut, so people, I walked, I enjoyed
Yeah.
walking, but not everyone's gonna want to do that. Is there a different area we could do it in?
Well, that's, I
Is
mean,
that possible so that these people get invited too? Or they feel like it's in somewhere centralized? Is that even
I
possible?
mean, we can move it anywhere. We've always, when
I
it
know, but
started,
that's
it was
okay.
at the park.
I get
But what
that.
if we were to bring it down here where we do Fourth
We
of
gotta
July?
do fencing for $1,000 or something a day.
And I'd say,
That's kind of why we were doing the church thing
Yeah.
for the basketball, because we can't afford those fencings to have a nice thing for people. We were trying to compromise.
okay, so what if we asked Rocky to put some flyers down there? And
I'm at your
we,
disposal.
thank you. And we could actually arrange for those people that maybe don't drive or, they have like Ammonite, they can't get around very well. We could offer rides, just like when we did the cleanup. We offered
I
to
just
go.
thought because citizens, not council, citizens would like to be included.
Of course,
And they
yeah.
didn't know about it, is what they said. I know the last one's out, but the area, I think might be better choice or something. I don't know where it will be though. That's the problem because there really isn't anything.
Part of the reason we did it at the park was because we have Kona Ice, we have the fire department, we have the PD, the school brings out a dinner. And that's kind of for them, you know, to bring it out, it takes a bit, but also because the movie in the park after dark, that's a soft place that they can bring their blankets and their
Sure.
pillows and lay down. So I don't know, it's something, I mean, it's not until August and I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're open to, yeah, so.
All right. Is there anything else tonight from council? Staff?
Need my note.
Price 909, meetings adjourned.
Questions, right?